Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for those who are committed to taking control of their trading in order to achieve success, profitability, and longevity. Thank you for joining us. Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com weekend update show. Hope everybody is doing well. Happy Memorial Day. I wish for all of us in the Northeast we had better weather, man. It is like 55 degrees outside. It's about to rain again. Just brutal, absolutely brutal. So again, if you are in any other part of the country, congratulations. You did it. You won. Anyway, guys, hope everybody is doing well. Just a quick announcement, just kind of a follow-up, just again, a little bit of a reminder. June the 22nd is going to be kind of a refresher. I don't want to use this as a whole big thing, but kind of a refresher course of the PS60 theory. The latest installment. The theory has evolved since the last time we did a webinar about 5-6 years ago. We've included rejections, bounces, using order flow, using order flow, a lot of things that have really started moving different little pieces of the puzzle a little bit closer together. So if you are planning to kick the tires in the next 30 days, you will be included, right? You will be included in the June 22nd webinar. There's no extra cost or anything. It's just literally anybody, whether you're taking a trial or just in there totally, you have access to it. It will not be released to the public till 2026. So if you are interested, again, guys, use this opportunity to kind of kick the tires and see if pivots are a good fit for you. All right, so let's talk about it, right? Last 3.5 weeks, NASDAQ up about 17%. We talk about the ability of a market not to get ahead of itself too far or too fast, not exactly what you want to do. So if you look at the final numbers this week, it's actually a good thing, right? It's actually a really good thing. You look at the indexes, gave back a little bit of profits. You have the NASDAQ falling 2.5%, the Dow falling 2.5%, and S&P, drum roll please, 2.5%. So 2.5% declines all across the board. Considering what we saw this week of a Moody's downgrade that we talked about, the potential of the market buying that downgrade, that's exactly what happened. We have new tariff talk. Trump woke up on Friday and just straight up just went violence, right? He woke up, chose violence. You saw when you woke up Friday morning, you saw Trump implementing a 50% tariff to the EU starting June 1st. That's kind of like you getting in an argument with your mom. You know your mom's going to cave in. We already know what's going to happen, right? They issued the tariff 3 days later. There's going to be a 90-day window. Oh, it's your best friend. Everything is going to be fine, right? The market, again, started buying the tape. The problem was how it affected Apple. Trump basically came out with a Truth Social post and say, yo, you guys better start making, iPhones in Missouri. Okay, because if you continue to make them anywhere else in China and this, that, and the third, you are going to get hit with 25%. Apple obviously did not like the news. Not everything else. Everything else didn't like the news, and Apple went down 3% very, very aggressively. So here's kind of again the good news, bad news, right? The good news, bad news is this. The good news is we're getting a very good organic. Needed, right? Needed a little bit of a back test, right? If you guys remember Thursday's video, I recorded a Thursday video because Wednesday I was in jury duty. I said, well, watch that 511 area. Watch that 511 area. We don't want to break that 511 area. Again, stocks are being sold. Watch the 511 area. And as soon as Trump's news hit, Qs went down all the way down to 503. So literally every single one of my short setups for Friday were just dead in the water. But again, to the bulls' credit, they continue to bounce. They continue to buy the dip. Here's the problem if you're continuing to buy the dip going into Monday. Again, the whole point of the PS60 theory is, and again, for all you guys who are coming for the new one, make sure you watch the original and the second one, because we're only going to, it's very, very important you understand the moving parts. This is kind of like extra stuff on top of the theory. But the whole point of the theory is stocks trade in channels, right? They trade from supply to supply and they trade from demand to demand. So if you believe in that theory, well, we lost the 511, right? We lost the 511 on the close, regardless of how good the market continues to bid up into weakness. And now the next demand zone is right around this 500 area, which is roughly the 150-day SMA. So the last thing you want to do, understanding this, and we close below the 10-day moving average, the last thing you want to continue to buy dip, buy dip, buy dip. And again, you'll probably be fine longer term in this interval, but it's a very good possibility the next couple of days that if we can't rally, if we can't reclaim back the 10-day moving average, there's going to be a further back test all the way up to the 500 area. Where the bulls need to step up to protect this area, they need to reclaim back 511, 512, because that's what they lost on the 10-day moving average. So if they reclaim back 511, 512, everything is fine, right? Everything is fine, and they're recruiting back the 5-day. That means they're reclaiming back short-term sentiment, and we should test back the highs. However, if they don't, and the longer we continue to build below this 511 area, the higher probability that we will see this 499, 500 area. So again, it's not as dramatic or as important as losing the 50-day moving average. But again, stocks do trade in cycles, ETF trade in cycles. And again, we are first close below the 10-day moving average. So keep an eye going all the way back to the 500 area in the next couple of days if we can't reclaim back the 5-day moving average. So good news, right? Good news. Market keeps on buying into weakness. The problem is we continue to break technical levels for the next 2-3 days. And the one group that really stood out on Friday were their uranium stocks, right? Not usually a group I would follow, but Trump came out, and again, I'm reading this. If you think for a second I know what any of this stuff means, you're out of your mind. So Trump came out with an executive order to streamline reactors approval and boost domestic fuel supply. He could have told me forks, planes, cars, and elbows. It all means the same to me. I have no idea what any of that stuff means, but the nuclear stocks went nuclear, right? If you look at names, OKLO went out of its mind. NNE went out of its mind. Names I've never heard of before. SMR went out of its mind. A stock like URNJ, your guess is as good as mine what the hell that is, went out of its mind. So it really does show you, and this is kind of the case in point why I'm bringing this group up. Despite the market's backtest, and granted it's only 2.5% from the 17.5% rally, despite the market's backtest, people are still chasing. That's a good thing, right? People are still chasing. That means there is no fear. That means people are not panicking or any of that stuff. They continue to bid up speculation capital, and that's a very, very important part of any back-testing potential market that's still strong and a very, very good exaggerated uptrend. So it's very, very important. Again, we'll see exactly what happens on Tuesday. Obviously, Monday, we are all off observing of Memorial Day, but we'll see what happens on Tuesday. The key right now is try to take advantage of this interval, right? And if you guys notice, I got my Tesla shirt on. Why is Tesla important? Well, it's so important. But Elon Musk came out, I think it was Friday afternoon. I believe it was Saturday afternoon. I forgot one of these things. And he came out and said, look, I'm spending way too much time with the government. Everything is taking away my attention. I want to go back and concentrate on Tesla, on X, on XAI, and all this stuff that he's primarily built his career in. Let's see how the market is going to react. Having said that, the options market has been reacting all week, right? And this has been now a phenomenal consolidation on Tesla. If you guys remember that 295 break that we were talking about in nauseum for weeks and weeks and weeks, finally broke out. This is now, it's going through its distribution stage of 2 weeks. And guys, I'm telling you, the cool thing about Tesla, regardless if it goes up or down, we don't know yet. Obviously, starts losing the 10-day moving average, I'll short the damn thing. But let's just say it doesn't, right? Let's just say it doesn't. I will tell you this much. The options market from an institutional point of view regarding Tesla is super violent, right? They just stopped betting, the 350s, the 375s, right? They just stopped betting those in the last, 2-3 sessions. You know what they started doing? They started pounding millions and millions of dollars in the July 440s. Guys, that's 100 points away. And if that wasn't enough, on Friday, they were coming in with more violence of the August 500. So either Elon Musk has solved pretty much and cured every single disease out there. Uh, I have no idea what this possible news can be, right? I doubt very much that an announcement that he's going to spend more time. It's like me saying, guys, I'm going to spend more time with my kids. Congratulate me. You're supposed to spend time with your kids. You're father. So it's not really, I can't see this PR that I'm going to spend more time concentrating on Tesla and XAI and all that stuff significant enough to give it that much of a boost. So I'm very, very curious to see if somebody's betting millions and millions and millions of dollars. Why are you betting 100 points out of the money, right? With only 2 months, right? Why are you betting the 500s? Okay, 170 points out of the money with only 3 months. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see exactly what happens there. If you look at some of the other names, Apple, if there is a further back test and the way the market closed on Friday, if that is going to be the case, I will definitely be watching this thing to the downside. Again, the only reason why it stopped here, it was this lower Bollinger Band that held it up. If it starts building below the lower Bollinger Band, I definitely want to be a seller in the stock. Again, the market's really spoken how aggressive it absolutely is. If you look at names, for example, like Nvidia, Nvidia is coming up on earnings very, very soon. Again, still very, very aggressive call buyers coming in ahead of earnings. Just like everything else, it looks like it wants to come down back to its 150-day SMA, just like kind of a mirroring of the NASDAQ 100. If you look, for example, Microsoft, right? Microsoft had a hell of a run, had a really hell of a run. Again, if we start losing back if we start going lower, watch Microsoft. Again, had a big, big run. Look how much room you have to the downside here. This thing confirms the 10-day moving average. You have 13 points of downside. Again, nobody's talking about the stock's going to go down 100 points, but we're just trying to take advantage of the interval that we have. You look, for example, a name like Amazon, right? Amazon has completely backtested, right? Completely backtested, filled in this whole gap. So it's very, very curious to see what happens next. First close below the 5-day moving average as well. So it's very, very important to see exactly what happens next with that. CRWV, I mean, this thing is very, very close of snapping, guys. Really, really close. It had its first incision on, on Thursday, right? It gapped down like everything else. We talked about that 93, 96 level. It gapped down to this 96 pre-market level. Folks, watch this thing, man. Again, gravity is real. I don't care how strong your stock is. I don't care how great you love with the company. The stock has doubled, man. It's doubled since April. So my point is that this thing loses the 5-day, and the 5-day demonstrates short term. Whoever has control of the 5-day has control of the short term. If this thing starts losing the 5-day moving average, guys, there is room. There is absolutely room. Remember, a guy came in with $1 million, bet $1 million that September it's going to go back down to 60. Whether it will or not, I have no idea. But anybody who's putting up $1 million on a 4-month rental, maybe they have something here, right? So everything floats around in gravity. Let's keep an eye on this thing on the 5-day moving average, and let's see if there is more potential, right? Potential to the downside ahead. Let me see what else I want to give you guys. Look at VST. VST is also another one of these, another play on I believe on the nuclear game. Keep an eye on this thing. Nice tight channel to the upside. Look at Hertz. We talked about this the other day. Inside day, right? Inside day on Friday. Res day on Friday. Very interesting looking chart. Snow, nice, gave us a scalp on Friday. It probably needs a couple more days to kind of go sideways, but let's keep an eye on that. Avago, all right? Avago is setting up now on a two-sided trade here, right? You have this really, really tight channel to the upside, but just like everything else, it is setting up on that 10-day trade. So if these stocks start losing back the 10-day moving average, it will give us an opportunity to the downside if they obviously hold and reclaim back 11, 12, on the cues, then everything is good in the world. Again, for all you guys who are joining us, guys, for the next between now and June 22nd, this is a really cool time to see if pivots are a right fit for you, because again, you get to see the next installment of the PS60 theory. Guys, have a great weekend, everybody. God bless, and with God's help, I'll see you all on Tuesday. Take care.